All right, Coach Meesh. So excited to have you on the Spa Marketing Made Easy podcast with us. This is really an exciting, interesting, I feel like we've probably had more episodes on personality tests than any other topic. I mean, besides like the promotions and whatever, but we've done MBTI, we've done human design, and today we're talking about strength finders. And it's such I don't know if it's just a human emotion that we are always interested in learning about ourselves, or if it's as entrepreneurs, we're wanting to really master the skill of how we communicate with others or how we, I don't know what it is, but Strength Finders is really cool.
I would agree. I like strengths. And I think you're going to share a story on how I strong armed you. So
Yes, one of your strengths. I know. So what Meesh is referring to is, she and I have worked together in a coaching capacity where she was and is a one-on-one client with us. She has built a 7-figure spa, done some really incredible things, leading her team, building a membership with 300 plus members, getting ready to have a 6-figure event. There's so many really incredible things that you've done. But from the beginning, you said, I'm going to be on Team Addo. I said, okay, because a lot of people tell me that. And, as we were talking before we started recording, I was sharing, it's like, it takes a lot. Like I need to build that rapport. I need to trust who you are in the good times and the bad times. And for all of us that we're entrepreneurs, our business is our baby. Our business is something that's so important. We pour ourselves into it. And we were on a coaching call, which was supposed to be me coaching you. That was the intention. That was the time block off. And it completely role reversed. And you ended up giving me a 1-hour coaching session, which ultimately resulted in me the next day saying, hey, do you want to come work for me?
I'm like, finally, she sees me.
But, I saw you. But as you learned from my StrengthsFinder, one, I don't know which one it is, but
Relator. Yes.
Relator. Okay. So my Relator is, I have a lot of acquaintances and I have very few people that get in my circle. Yes. But once you're in the circle, you are, the good, the bad, the ugly, you're here for life, right? It's, if you do something real ugly, then you're out for life.
Right.
It's one of those things that takes a lot to get in and it takes a lot to get out. But those people that are in, they just are family, right? And I think that like, even looking from a personal aspect, I'm divorced. My first husband is still an incredible friend. Like even going through, like he has brunch with my mom on Sundays. I text him for his birthday. He like always is checking in about the kids. And I realize that that's maybe not normal for a lot of people, but
I don't do that.
But I always say like, we had a very amicable divorce. There's just because we separated our relationship from a married relationship to a friend relationship doesn't mean you're out of the circle. Right. So it was really interesting as we went through, you had given me the test. You're a certified StrengthsFinder coach. And you had given me the test and gave me my results and were going through and telling me all of this stuff about me, like you were reading my diary. And I thought it was really cool. So tell me, let's get into first, like the difference between StrengthsFinder, like maybe start with the history of it, how it was created, and then how it's different from something like MBTI, the Myers-Briggs type indicator, or these other, Enneagram, whatever those DISC, like all of those type of tests.
Right. Yeah. So great question. And when it comes to personality tests, I think we all agree that they assess the personality of the person and how they're going to respond or react in certain situations. And what I found, I've taken the DISC, I've taken the Enneagram, the Myers-Briggs, I've done all of those. And then I found strengths, and actually found it when I was in law enforcement. And Don Clifton, who's the founder of Strengths, he started off with what would happen if we studied what was right with people.
Mhm.
Because we can all think of when we're coaching someone, when we're talking with someone, when we have employees, that we want to identify what their weaknesses are rather than identifying what their strengths are. With strengths, the way that I associate it easier for me versus the other types, and they're all very great depending on how you implement them, is that they use common words that without having to look it up. I know that
Like,
I'm
what
an
does ESFJ mean?
ESFJ, right? I have to go like extrovert. I'm like, I know that I'm the S, I think it's strategic, maybe. I don't know.
Sensing.
Sensing. Okay. See, I
Yes.
don't know. But if I hear the word like with your top five, I know your top five are relator, discipline, activator, significance, and achiever. One can pull and see, what are these? What are they? And the words alone are going to give a lot of definition in that. And that's what's really great about strengths. And when you think of a person and you'll say, I don't really need to know what I'm good at. I know what I'm good at. Well, agree and disagree. We all know people who go out and sing karaoke and they think they're great at it. And unfortunately, that's probably not their strength, but they think that they're great at it. And so when it comes with strengths, you look inside who the person is and capitalize on what they do great. And what I loved about when you and I had our conversation was, one, I felt very honored afterward. You were like, I'm not coachable, like, or what, everybody needs a coach, but I'm picky about picky about who you want to coach you. And I was like, oh, I feel honored to feel like I didn't feel like it was a coaching session. I felt like we just had normal talk. But I think the big thing that came out was like, Daniela, who takes care of you if, you're always asking at the estheticians, what happens if your hands get hurt or you're injured?
Mhm.
What happens with your company if for some reason you aren't able to work? And so that was where I was like, where are your strengths in your team? And where are you finding the people to ensure Daniela Warner and Addo Aesthetics? So that's where I really love strengths.
And that's when I was like, so would you like a job?
I think also like with, all the estheticians that we work with on a daily basis, they are consistently asking, how do I get my employee to do this better, to do that better? Well, if you sit down and ask your employees certain questions, or you have them take the Myers-Briggs or the Enneagram or the strengths test and see what it is that they are best suited for, does someone prefer to teach protocol on how to give a facial, or do they prefer to write the protocol up? Where are their strengths versus saying, hey, here's this new facial, go create a treatment for it. And someone panics and they're like, this isn't my wheelhouse. Whereas you find someone who it is in their wheelhouse and they'll skyrocket your business and they'll really run with it for you. And I think that's where that I like the strengths. There's 4 themes, or there's 34 themes or strengths that you have. And when you do your StrengthsFinder, you get your top 5, but it really lets you hone in and monetize on yourself, on your relationships, on your business, on your own skills, people skills, business skills, everything. That's what I love about it.
And I love the positive aspect of it. It's like, you do a lot of coaching, you do our leadership and mindset coaching inside of Growth Factor. And you did this exercise with them where you said, write with your dominant hand and then write with your non-dominant hand. And it was just such a powerful visual of like the beautiful handwriting that we've practiced and done millions of times with our dominant hand. And then like, looks like my 2-year-old did it with this hand. And seeing that visual and understanding like, hey, what if you only did the things in your business that you were best at? Mm-hmm. And what if you could hire others to support and fill in those different areas so that you could just do not only what you enjoyed the most, but what you were truly the best at. And for me, I realized that every year when I'm doing my annual review, when I'm looking at like how my year went and how I'm planning for the next year, I'll always do a calendar audit and I'll always say, okay, well, this is the only thing. I only want to do the podcast and the coaching calls. And I'll like get smaller and smaller and smaller every year of this is literally the only thing in the company that I want to do. And it's amazing because the more of that I do, the bigger the company grows.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people on my team that are way better than me at doing what they do. And that's how we should be as business owners. How can I make my team better than me? How can I make my team focus on these things that are not my number one strength, where I, as the visionary of the company, the CEO of the company, I can focus on those things that I excel at and then delegate the other things. You'll not only be happier, but your business will be so much more productive.
That is so true.
And
you're not working when you do that. You're doing something. It doesn't feel like you're working.
I know. I mean, I'm thinking of our event that we just had last week. So at the time of recording this, so we had an in-person gathering here in DC. We're getting ready to go to your event later this week. And for me, that just sounds like a fun girls trip. And it's actually like, our event, our in-person event, we had 17 incredibly successful, powerful women, spa CEOs, and everybody was crying and everybody was vulnerable and open and incredibly supportive of the other women in that group. And now I think there's going to be 7 of us that go to your event, supporting your event and kind of keeping that momentum going. I'm like, this is my job. This is what this is my work. How incredible is that? So how can you do that for your company? You, as the entrepreneur, as the spa CEO, you get to create the life that you want to live. You build your business around the life that you want to live. And that's why we focus so much on exit strategy and kind of staying in your lane. Don't worry what everybody else is doing. Do what is going to make the most sense for you and your vision of the life that you want to live.
You are 100% correct. Yes. If you can look at your employees and you can grab on to the things that they do better than you or more efficient than you, let them shine, let you shine, and then everybody shines. And that's what was great about our event, was that everybody came together and it was very raw. It was very real. It was very natural. I remember one of the girls saying that this made it real for me this weekend because I see you on a screen and we talk and this, but to actually see someone, to hug someone, to actually be able to develop as a whole. Because a lot of times in this industry, you find competition. Nobody really wants to talk to you. But inside Growth Factor, you truly do have a matchmaking technique inside there that you have created. I know that wasn't probably part of the plan.
That's my other job, my other company.
I think Carrie and I are Medsties or whatever. We're trying to come up with our med spa name, but it's amazing. Nurses? Yeah. Oh, I think we said thirsty nurses because we were all, but it's such a well-rounded group. And to see even somebody who has, the strength of, you're an activator in your top 5, you want to get things done. It's in my top 10. It's not in my top 5, but to know that when you say you want something and you're going to execute it, you're going to get it done and you're going to make sure that you have the right people in the place to do it. And that's what really skyrockets our business instead of trying to do it all by ourselves. Find the insurance policy, find the person that's going to help you build your business to where you want to build it. And that's why scaling and structure inside Growth Factor are so vitally important. I love looking at the girls and seeing the light bulbs go off. We're working on leadership statements right now and how they show up and how they're seen by other peers. And then all of a sudden they're posting, challenge that I knew nothing about the hashtag. Meesh told me to. I'm like, Meesh didn't tell you to hashtag her name.
So the exercise that Meesh is referring to, you had a leadership call And the activity you said was to post a picture of yourself and have everybody describe how they see you. What do they see? And I think the concept, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but concept is like, for any of us as women, if we could see ourselves and really like understand and feel about ourselves the way that other genuine, supportive, collaborative women felt about us, oh my gosh, we would like be dominating the world, right? Women are such powerful beings. And so if we can just absorb some of that confidence and hear like, oh, Meesh thinks I'm bold and confident and approachable, or whatever the words are. When you hear that, you see all these comments. It was so beautiful. I was like, I want to do it. I want to go. And all the ladies, they were posting pictures of themselves. And it was like, Meesh told me to, was the hashtag, but there were all these beautiful comments below of, I see this in you. I see confidence. I see beauty. I see openness. I see, all these really descriptive, beautiful words. And I thought, what an incredible activity, right? Just to do, even with your girlfriends, like take that and go with your circle of girlfriends and say, how do you see me? What do you see as my strengths? What do you see as the way that I contribute? And it's so funny that this is like a full circle moment, because when I was in aesthetic school in Haiku, Maui, which is it was like an old barn where our school, it was like an old sugar mill barn.
I was going to say, I think of Hawaii aesthetic school and I'm like, oh, luau's and flowers everywhere.
It was up country. It was up country. So it was like, it rained every day and it was more like rainforest and this old kind of rusted barn that our school was in, like a sugar mill type of barn. And anyway, we did this thing called Circle. And we had like, one of the things was, everybody had a piece of paper and they wrote down one word that described you. And then you would pass it around. And then you had the kind of love notes per se of all of these words. And I still, like, so many of mine were graceful, powerful, confident. It was all like this confidence with grace. And I really like owned that. I felt like, wow, that's what a beautiful thing. And that's what other people see. And I still have all of those little pieces of paper. Like, it impacted me so much. And so it's just like doing that for another woman, doing that for another entrepreneur, especially in our space, in our industry. What a gift.
Oh, yes. My goal for the group is eventually for them to post those pictures publicly, but they were a little reserved at first. So I said, well, all right, let's keep it inside our small group. But
yeah,
really,
I mean, it's being really vulnerable, right?
Yes,
to do it on social, but our group is kind of a safe space. But building a business is about getting comfortable being uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I told him when I did mine years ago, I posted it and I put a Survey Monkey out there and I told people, it was an anonymous, ask, questions, what have I ever hurt you? Have I ever made you feel good? What did I do? I just asked a bunch of different questions. And I said, be prepared because some people will be really mean. And I got some comments and I was like, oh my gosh. But for every comment that might have startled me, I had 10 positives that said things that I was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe that women have an ability and a power to change this world. And we just need every woman listening. Sorry, guys. We just need them to know that and to figure it out that this is your moment to shine and really just shine.
And it's not that we don't love the guys. We do.
Correct.
We love you when you show up,
we
and
do.
especially the guys that are in our industry. It's just that women have so much more work to do of getting our confidence and getting our, really it is our confidence to.
It is because I feel like guys hide it a lot better because they, society has trained men to be masculine in the sense that we don't, they don't show the emotion if they're hurt or upset or something to that effect. But women, we have to work harder to prove, even in law enforcement, I had to work harder to prove my worth and that I deserved a seat at the table.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really, we have amazing men in our industry that do hands down but I also think that they have not easier, that's a bad word. They have a way that they can integrate into any field. And because of the man status that so many society terms have grown up with, it's just been that they do it better when we can all do it the same, maybe a little bit more grace here and there.
Yeah, totally agree. So how do you use StrengthsFinders for yourself? How are you using it in your company?
So that's a great question. So my top 5 are achiever, relator, communication, competition, and woo. Not the kind of woo.
I remember the woo. Yeah.
And I like, so achiever, and that's what's great about strengths is no matter what order they're in, I've got relator that's my second one, but it's number 1 for you. So the way that I relate is different, even though they are pretty similar. But the way that I do it in business is that that's where my goals come from. It makes perfect sense why I need these goals. That's where the goals come from. That's where the competition of achieving the goals comes from, and where I want to win everybody over authentically. I want people to know that I'm a genuine person. And I mean, I'll call a person who leaves a bad review on my Google, and I'll call them directly. I get it within an hour notice. I'm calling them like, hey, what's wrong? How can we make this better? How can we change this to a 5-star? I've had people change the review just because I called and showed that I cared. And I thought, well, gosh, I'll call every day if I have to just to make sure I get the right review. But yeah, I show up and I lead by example, and I make sure that my team knows that I'm there for them, and that ultimately their happiness is my happiness and my happiness is their happiness.
I love that. So if you guys are interested in StrengthsFinder, there's a little book that you can go and buy at any of the bookstores or Amazon or wherever you get your books. Check it out. Really look into all of the different personality tests, because there's going to be one that really stands out for you and is meaningful for you. There's MBTI, there's StrengthsFinder, there's Human Design, there's DISC, there's Enneagram. Research them. These are incredible tools that have been developed year after year after year that are going to help you communicate better with your team, understand yourself in such a deeper way. It's just really incredibly powerful. I highly encourage you to do that. Meesh, thank you for being on the show. You guys are going to hear a lot more from Coach Meesh coming in and supporting us and all the incredible things that she's doing with leadership and mindset inside of Growth Factor, 2 of the most important pieces of getting your business from that 6-figure to 7-figure mark. So much of it is leadership and mindset. And I'll say so often, like everything after 100,000 is mindset. And
completely,
it is so much. And so really doing that work on yourself is so incredibly important. So thank you so much for this incredible episode.
Thank you.
For those of you that want to keep the conversation going, make sure you head on over to the Spa Marketing Made Easy Facebook group. We'll keep the conversation going on in there, and we'll catch you on the next episode.